Welcome everybody to It Takes a Village podcast. Hope everybody's having a good day and enjoying themselves on this beautiful weekend. It may be raining outside, but we're still thankful that we're here to enjoy the rain. So hope everybody's enjoying themselves and just having a good, fantastic Father's Day weekend. We know that there's a lot of people out there that are celebrating, and I always say, if you don't have a father, find a father to celebrate. If you don't know your father, still find a father to celebrate. And if you feel like you just don't want to celebrate somebody naturally, we always have a heavenly father that's always willing to be there to love us and to give us the comfort that we need. So there's no reason that we can't celebrate Father's Day. And for the mothers who are standing instead of the fathers, we celebrate you for doing the job that you was not destined to do, but you're definitely equipped to do it. So we say Happy Father's Day to everybody because we know it takes a village, and that's why we're here today to show the benefits and the promises of having a village to back you up to do whatever it is that you endeavor to do in life. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, Ariana Turner.
Why, thank you. Happy Father's Day weekend to all of those fathers out there. We are, like Lorenzo said, so thankful for your energy and the what you put out into the community and how you lift up any village that you are a part of. And without further ado, I am so thankful. I am Ariana, the communication queen and life coach, and I am have the pleasure of introducing not only today's our host with the most, but also today's guest. So I will start off. If you don't know, and if you're new to our podcast, It Takes a Village, you have the pleasure of being hosted by Mr. Lorenzo Evans, who is a playwright, motivational speaker, a certified life coach, and most importantly of all, a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now, Lorenzo has written and directed around 9 plays. He's the founder of LNG Production, Living in Grace Ministries, and It Takes a Village podcast right here. You can catch him every Saturday at 7 a.m. on Facebook Live, and he has been in the ministry for well over 20 plus years. He is writing a book titled A Day in the Life of a Man and is currently writing a mini series called Where's My Daddy? So, you all, without further ado, this is your host, Lorenzo Evans, and I am your co host, Ariana Turner, the communication queen. As always, This Takes a Village is all about equipping you, uplifting you, and informing you of the resources that are available to you and your village. Today, we have a great a great guest. And if it's okay, I'll go right into introducing our guest.
Okay, and I'm going to bring her on.
All right, excellent. Welcome on, Coach AJ. Now, those of you who may not know, which is probably very few because Coach AJ names reigns strong. Dr. AJ Austin, her story comes from heartfelt experience. And so I want to share with you all that she went from homelessness, divorce, and the death of her mother all in a single day. And this shares how she's led to becoming an award winning professional speaker. She has well over 16 books that she's authored. She's a bestseller and a master life coach certification trainer. She's also a CEO of the International Center for Life Coach Training, LLC. We are so thankful and pleased to have you today and to be with us. And she has trained and certified well over 155 Black women of our community. So as we celebrate not only Father's Day, but also Juneteenth, Coach AJ, we are so thankful and welcome to have you with us today. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here, coaches. I'm excited. Both of you are coaches, one of my very own, near and dear to my heart. So thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Now, I will have to say, Lorenzo has referred me to you, and I have had the opportunity to see some of your newsletters and outreach, and she will update you with text messages, and she really is about connecting the village. So I have not had the opportunity to tap into it, so I'm so thankful that you've come on today, so that way I can begin to learn more about all the opportunity that you give to the community.
Uh-oh, Lorenzo, did you warn her? Did you prep her for what?
That's what I told her. I said, because she's one of those people that she won't push you beyond where you're going to go. but she will push you where you need to go. But she always say now with your permission, because there's no need pushing somebody who's not ready. And that's what I like about it. She definitely can hone on to people, because when I went through the class, it didn't take nothing but this long, and she knew everybody. She knew who came and who was going to do something. She knew who was like, well, we know you ain't here, but you may need to come a second time. I mean, she just could pick up and read people. And I think to be a coach, that's the first thing. You have to be able to read people. And she will make you face your fears, and you don't even realize it. And you were like, oh, okay, here I am. So, I mean, she has motivated me so much, and I consistently try to communicate with her. And that's why I wanted to bring you on today, because nobody can tell your story, and I learned this from her too. Nobody can tell your story better than you. And I mean, I've seen her do things, and I'm like, wow, she is so powerful. So we are so blessed and honored to have you here, and to see if we can extract the vast amount of knowledge that you have in so many areas. I know that we won't be able to get everything, but our hope is that we get enough for those who can see that you're worth communicating with, connecting with, and being a part of, because you definitely strengthen any village that you are a part of or that you visit or whatever. You definitely are one that we need in our village.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Definitely. So let's do this. Let's start with, normally we talk about some things, but first we want to start with a couple of questions first, because I know once we get you started, it's going, because she's got so much knowledge, and it's good knowledge. And that's what we need in the village. We need someone who can coach people, who can motivate people. So, Ariana, I'm gonna let you ask the first question, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and I always have a lot of questions, so if you don't mind. But just hearing just pieces of your story, I guess like that pivotal point that day when you had experienced so much loss, with all of the things that I'm sure you were trying to navigate and figure out in that one moment, how did you know that life coach was where you needed to focus?
Yeah, so that's when I first knew that I wanted to be a life coach, when life happened. I started out at Clark Atlanta University here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was a psychology major in the honors program, and $100,000 in scholarships, y'all. I had a phenomenal mentor that made sure the girl was fed, had a place to stay, books, tuition paid, and she just recently passed away. So Dr. Isabella T. Jenkins is the reason that I am here spreading my joy. She trusted me as her first TA. So I got a chance to train before I even had a degree. And people that would come to the school, freshmen, would ask me, what should I do with my refund check, Miss AJ? You know. And so I took that knowledge from psychology, the honors program, transferred it over to Mercer University to get my degree. It took about 15 years, y'all, but I got a degree in training and development, but not before I dealt with the death of my mom, the downsizing of a corporate job, a divorce, dropping out of college, and all of that happened around the same time. And it was at that point that I had time to sit with Jesus about what was going on. I literally looked up at the sky and asked him what he wanted me to do. I don't know, it's part of the story. I tell it every class and every chance I get, because that was my promise to God, that I would share what I had been through and how it got me here. So I had a chance to sit with my story. I put it in a book, and it's now called Secrets. I also have another book that recently released. I got it here so I didn't forget to share. #1 new release on Amazon called The Black Life Coach: How to Become a Professionally Trained, Skilled, Qualified, Certified Black Life Coach. So I love the fact that we have that all in common today. We're here, we're Black people of faith who are out in this movement and this ministry that we call life coaching. And so a good friend of mine told me about a class that was taking place in Atlanta. And, you know, we can get into more of that as far as how me and Coach Lorenzo met here in Atlanta as well, and spent the day together learning about, you know, what it means to be a life coach, how to take your story and stand on it, make some money from that thing. Let's get paid for that pain. Okay. So right. Yeah, that's kind of what got us here. So hopefully that answered you just a little bit. Like you said, when I get started, I keep going. So I don't want to take over the show, but I follow your lead. So here we go.
But, you know, that's good, because like you say, you know, it was through a connections that that we all end up being together. So it's really good to express and let people know that because my intentions was to, I had some issues going at the job, so I said, let me go get some counseling, try to see what's going on. And,
Yeah.
and that's another thing too, as people of color, we're so scared or ashamed to say we had to get counseling or therapy or whatever, but that's part of life. So
Yeah.
it's nothing wrong with it. So I'm never ashamed to say that. And so I was going just for that. And I said, I might need to take some time off of the job. So I need to have this and that. And so doing my therapy session at the end, I was like, I would love to be a life coach because I seen the certificates and stuff, and she said, well, I know someone who can help you, and I was like, okay, because people say that all the time, and then you call them and they either don't know the person, don't remember the person, or whatever, and it was like before I knew it, it was like boom, 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 and I called, I signed up for the class, and before I knew it, I was sitting there and got my certification. So it was just good the way, and it flowed. And when I went in, I had no intentions at all of getting my certification at that moment, at that time. But they say all things work together for the good. So I went in to get therapy and came out with the ability to help other people who need therapy. So it was good, but it was all because, and it was so much that I learned in that class. And I'm just so thankful that you gave your story, because a lot of people feel like when we see people who are successful, we always feel like it must be because they've hit it all right, the life is good. And they never know what's going on behind your closed door. You put that frown down and then you pick up your smile and you walk outside to face the world. So yeah, you got some good stuff. And while you were speaking of your books, now this is the book that I purchased. I don't know if you can see it during the class. And let me see if I get it right. This book here is a book that I think anyone should pick up. It's called Secrets of Social Print.
We just say secrets now. We just say secrets.
Right. But it's so good because it asks you questions at the end of it, how to assess yourself after you read it. And it's just so much information in it. And I'm like, wow, that's good. So every time I pick that book up, and I keep it right at my work office, I just keep it because it's got so much stuff in it that you don't think about, like, do you have a problem with procrastination? And I was like, yeah. So your thing is like, if you do, deal with it. And I'm like,
right.
Okay.
Right.
I was like, okay. So you've got, like I said, you've got a wealth of knowledge, and it's good that you're willing to share it. And even with your teaching and training, I know now a lot of your class and stuff is geared more towards African American women and such. But I do want people to know that you do equip men as well to deal with their situations, to coach others and stuff. So I don't want the men to listen to, oh well, this is not for me. No, this is for everybody. So
right. It is. And I work with men. It's a select few. You got to come ready. Like you knew you wanted to be certified. I remember our class out of all 157 now at the time of this recording. I remember you, your story, your tears. Yeah. You want me to say that on air, I'm sure. But I remember we had some breakthroughs in class that day. I remember your goals and dreams as a coach. And so, like you said, to leave one area of your life equipped to help others in another area is amazing in and of itself. And so, yeah, men have been a very big supporter of the work that I do for Black women of faith. I train them to become certified life coaches online in one day, in our one-day home study course. I take all this energy, I bottled it up. Y'all always tell me, I wish I could bottle up your energy. So I did. And we offer it online now. So they get me for 8 hours, just like you did, Coach. And we go through everything that it takes to become a coach and to actually practice the skill and hone in on that gift that we know that we have, because it's a calling, it's a pull on your heart. And so when people can't get to the class with me, or they're not here in the space, or we go through a time that we just came out of where you can't leave your home, we have books and the home study course and things like that. So the Secrets book that you just showed, men have bought the most copies of that book.
Mm.
One guy put $300, $100 bills in my face and said, give me this many copies of your book. He said, I know women in my life who could use it, autograph it. He gave me the list of names and I gave them messages. But it packages up everything that you need to go to your next level. So if you're really ready, the resources are available. And that's how I make it. Educational is universal, as my male coaches have said. Like, don't leave us out, Dr. J. So.
I love it.
And what I like about them is that it's not priced to where we can't obtain it.
Right. I actually, I wrote that going through school. Mercer University has 8-week courses. That book has 8 chapters. I wrote a chapter a week for 8 weeks, and I had to report to my class. I told everybody I was writing a book. And when I finished, they were so proud. And so this $13 book that I wrote in school has brought in well over $13,000 just in this new release. It's a couple years old now. So from $13 to $13,000, that'll preach, won't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
I love, I know we've talked about new beginning life coaches and getting certified, but I'm hoping that, and because there's so many classes and certifications out there, that you still can bring a current life coach to the next level, and that you have resources for them. Would you tell us about that?
Absolutely. We have a new program coming because I have a lot of people that approach me fresh in class, not been certified yet. And they're like, how can I get to where you are, Dr. AJ? And I'm like, you got 15 years, a couple sacrifices you're willing to make, some struggles that you want to go through. So I packaged that up too. And we now have a course on creating your own certification. So everybody that wants to, quote unquote, be where I am does not necessarily want to certify life coaches. So one-on-one in a private mastermind, I offer the course creation. We call it certification course creation for those who are coaches. You know what you specialize in, and you're ready to now certify other people in that area. So if you're a relationship coach, health coach, empowerment coach, parenting coach, and you're trying to build your team or license out materials, I help you develop those material to offer that certification component. Now that we have so many coaches under our belt singing my praises, it's like, I know a little bit about this, so let me help you package that up and make even more money. So that's for those next level coaches, and you got to be ready.
Yes, definitely.
I love it.
Definitely. And let me, because you kind of touched on this, so I'm going to go to this question. I think it was the 4th question, so we'll circle back to the other ones, but you kind of touched on it. How did COVID-19 help or hurt your journey as a coach?
COVID-19 blessed my socks off. The fact that y'all couldn't go nowhere meant that I could find you online at any time. Okay. So I did a series of late night lives. God dropped in my spirit. It's like the Home Shopping Network at 12 o'clock at night on Facebook. So I jumped on, everybody on there ready to talk, ready to buy. So we certified a lot of coaches during COVID because, it was like, now you couldn't run. You can't go outside. You got to sit and do your homework. And so I was there as a trainer preparing our women, but not even that. God even had to take it a step further, because when you and I met, Coach Lorenzo, I was training men, women, Black, white, Latina, Latino, every culture, every race. It didn't matter. Anybody could come. We had some coaches from the LGBTQ community. We had coaches that were disabled, learning disabilities, physical disabilities, and COVID just shut it all down to where I didn't have as much access to that many people, but I did have what was going on around us. So while we might not have been able to go outside and play, some people said, forget that. We are still Black, 500,000 minutes a year. We are still being treated unfairly, even though we can't play and interact with each other. Our money and dollars are still green. If we stop spending them, the economy will make a difference. So they started protesting. Black Lives Matter. They started the civic unrest, civil unrest. And God said, do you realize how much what you do is needed in the earth now? And you were blessed with the gift of being an African-American woman who can help others, help people in this time of unrest. And so because I have this gift that I could pour in, I went hard. I'm still going hard. Like you said, do you sleep? You know, when do you eat? I'm going to get pizza after this. I'm just saying. But I make time because I know this is what God put me here to do for such a time as this. So while people were complaining about COVID, I was getting grants. One company sponsored $1,000 for a couple people to go through my certification training. I gave away scholarships in honor of my 40th birthday and in honor of my mom, who was an entrepreneur. So COVID blessed my business so much. And so when I look back, what I made when I was coaching you just a couple years ago, I made that in the first 4 months of this year, thanks to that clarity that came from COVID-19. Okay, so that's my testimony.
Good.
I love it.
Yes.
Wow.
Many blessings.
And
Yeah,
you know,
I can't wait to get on your level.
Come on, girl. It's
I will
amazing.
be.
Yes, it is so doable.
And I'm telling you, cause with the skills that Ariana has, I know without a doubt, under your tutelages, as you're her mentor, you would even be shocked at the ability she have that she haven't even tapped into yet.
All right, now let's do it.
She's gifted, and I tell people this all the time. I said to her, and I even said to you, you do a lot of things naturally, so you don't think that it's as difficult as it is. Just because you make it look easy does not mean that it is. Just because it's easy
Say that
to
again.
you does not mean that it's easy to the next person. So I think sometimes we get so comfortable in our gifting that we don't realize how special it is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I'm
and
just
sometimes
saying.
it takes others to help pull it out of you. And like you said, you have to be ready. So I know this Ariana's kind of reserved and shy, girl. I have you singing on stage, okay? And it's all good if that's what you're ready for your next level. So I've learned patience too, you know, and that's a really great quality of a coach, learning how to sit and listen and read the room, you know, activate that spirit of discernment. Like, you know, can I move forth, Father? Should I give her this word? Is it time? So I'm learning to activate all the gifts of the fivefold ministry as a coach.
That's actually led me to my next question I wanted to ask you, because you talked about in so many points of your walk and your journey, and I imagine still daily you listen and you're obedient to what the Spirit guides you to do. So when it's time to act, you act. And, you know, this is the year of action. So as a life coach, how would you guide someone to being able to tune into that?
It's a spiritual walk. I just was advising a coach before we went live here today that we can't really take on that mantle. That's like me saying, I'm going to change your life in 60 minutes. Girl, you got 40 years to build up. You know, I can't take on that. And so if the coach is willing to go within, you know, that means that the work has started before they reach me. You know, if they need me to fill in the gap, or as we say as coaches, hold the space, you know, where I can sit here quietly and let you vent and get it all out, and I'm still be sitting here quietly holding that space for you when you're ready to make that move. But if not, you know, that's a journey you have to take by yourself. I can only point. I've had coaches that I've prayed with. Coaches have met me at church. You know, we've had prayer on our calls, words of encouragement, scripture. I'm only able to do so much. So I need that second person where 2 or 3 are gathered in his name. He's going to be in the midst. Okay. So we have to join forces. So if you come to me ready, I'm ready to do what God has placed me in your life to do. Because as we have talked about, you know, he'll place people on your path. And as my former pastor used to say, you know, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So I stay ready for when they come my way. And I'm like, okay, Lord, what is your will? Because I'm always listening.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. And, you know, I always tell people, I think the mistake a lot of people make is they try to wait till they get somewhere and then try to prepare for that moment. But for me, I've learned I prepare for stuff that I'm looking forward to from places I'm going. I mean, right now you can't see it, but I got enough stuff now to go in and put a whole studio up because I know where God is going to take me. So I'm not going to wait. I'm going to go in and get ready. So when that door opens, all I got to do is take my equipment and transfer it over.
Yep.
And just be ready because, you know, God is opening doors. And a lot of times, and I've learned this, especially since been under your class, I've learned that a lot of times the reason God don't open the door is because we're not ready. So it's like, why would I bless you with something when you're not ready? Because now you're gonna get in it, and when you fail, you can look at me. So a good father, since we're talking about Father's Day, a good father is not going to give you the keys to the car until he know that you know how to drive it. So a lot of times it's not that the blessing is not there. We just haven't properly prepared ourselves for that.
Right. And that's why I said you can't take on the mantle of trying to change somebody that's not ready. I'm thinking, like, if they're not listening to God, who am I? I'm mortal. If you ain't obedient to Jesus, I can't do nothing for you because I'm going to take you to him, And I encourage my coaches and friends to do the same. If you ever feel like you can't get through to me, take me to the Father. He know how to reach me at 3 a.m. when I can't sleep. Get me on my knees, seeking him for, like, what is this feeling, Lord? What are you whispering to me in my dream? What have you shown me that I'm supposed to be available for? And a lot of times, people are holding themselves back or quote unquote stuck or waiting on God or praying about it. All that's in quotes with bunny ears, right? So like you said, you're surrounded by things where you can make a studio. You're ready. A lot of us take on so much stuff that it's too cluttered, so we're like, I sew and I babysit and I do real estate and I rent houses. Oh, and I'm a coach and a preacher and a pastor and a teacher and a counselor. And we like, well, I don't know what to ask you for. You got too much stuff around you. You have to clear the clutter so that when it's time to move, you've decluttered and you're ready to focus on one gift, one thing that God has led you to do. And that's a qualification of my life coaches. I'm like, you can only do one business at a time. If not, I'm not your coach. It's just that real, that simple.
Yeah.
I love that you put that in perspective because nowadays everybody's a multi-hustler and, trying to do everything.
Okay.
And, to Lorenzo's point about, both of you talking about, be ready so you don't have to get ready. I love because I hear it from you, Coach AJ, is that, everybody's walk is different and what that readiness or where God is talking to you about, only you know. So like, this is my year of action. And so I'm just trying to make sure I'm like, okay, what step do you want to make? Step right here. Okay, move right here. And I'm just trying to make sure I do it. And so someone else's walk they may be enacting all into multiple diversities and everything. So theirs may be to slow down and be still. So I love that you have the discernment to help people to recognize, to stop and trying to be in tune with where their walking journey is with their spirit.
Your journey and not what you see everybody else doing either. That's a big thing as coaches. Shiny object syndrome, analysis paralysis, comparison, trying to be and do and get what everybody else has. And it's just like, yeah, but what is God telling you? Because you can't do it like everybody else. Everybody's walk ain't the same, like you just said. Yes.
This new realm of social media, do you find that a lot of the clients that come to you have that glaze over their eyes where they're too busy watching everything?
Absolutely. The slogan of my company should be like, make me the next Ayanna, fix your life. And I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. That's not what I do. But we do have one of our recent coaches, Coach Naricia Johnson. She's here in Atlanta with me. And she was selected because she is a Black woman of faith. She's a minister. She is a certified coach now. And she was called on to sit in the seat of an Ayanna Van Zant. And it's in a documentary. She helped sexual trauma survivors. She coached them on screen, had me throwing stuff at the screen like, you better coach. So to know that, things are possible if you are listening to God. That's where God was leading her. She was invited into that realm. And so because she had prepared herself, she studied. Now her story too is very special because when she called, she was getting certified during COVID. And she like, I got 2 weeks in the house. Hey, let's get certified. And she did it. And I was so proud to say that when we've had a lot of success stories like that, who took that lockdown, shutdown, quarantine time to focus in on what, like I said, they've heard the call in their heart. They know they're called for greater. They feel that purpose pull or push, and that was just the time to get it done. as a reward, God put her in the spotlight. She didn't have to try to copy and paste it. And now she is literally our success story. I feature her all the time. I talk about her a lot, and she's very humble in it, you know. So I brag on her because she won't brag on herself. But that's just one. We have so many stories. One of our coaches is on a reality TV show. And I let her tell her story. I don't call her name, but I remember her coming into class, our conversations afterwards. She got a copy of the book as well, and just seeing the vision that was already inside. So a lot of us already know. And so this time of being online has been that time of clarity to move forward with it all.
Love it. I have another, I got a lot of questions. So as Black women, it's not always easy to find like-minded villages or, groups to fill your village with. Do you have like, not meetup group, but more of like a networking group where women can tap into and just be connected to the energy that you give?
Yes, and it's an investment of time, money, and attention. So when you come get certified with me in our 1-day life coach certification training, the first quick win, as the coach calls it, is for you to join our online exclusive private community of about 40 of our coaches who have received their certification over the last year. These are prayer warriors, ministers, intercessors. They have meetings without me, but with my permission, because they like, you put us on stage. We just want to vent and talk. So they support each other. They go to each other's events. They sow seeds into each other's lives. They're following the lead that I put out there of giving and sowing and building that legacy and moving forward. So we come together quarterly at the time of this recording and do what we call Coffee with Coaches. They all have their own little coffee mugs they get as a gift. And we meet for 2 hours and just hash it out, support where you at, what are you working on, how can we help, what resources do you need. One of our coaches, I tricked her into doing a TikTok during our last chat, and she loved it. She uploaded it to all the socials, and now the other coaches is like, I want one, So we have that outlet. It's a network of support. It's ongoing. We're cheering on our coaches as they go through our 1-day life coach training. So it's our sisterhood. It's our support circle. And it's my tribe. It's something that God showed me that I had and I didn't even know I was building. One of our very first coaches who raised her hand this time last year and said yes to getting certified with me said, we want to stay in touch with you after the certification. Set us up. What do we do? And as a result, we've been growing ever since. Everybody wants to get in. Everybody's not qualified. We do turn people away if you haven't been through our certification. But we do come out and play sometimes with the other coaches online with events and things like that. But when they show up strong. They have my back. And I tell new coaches who are considering coming to train with me, like, you ain't got to worry about me, or you think I'm crazy. You got 40 other ones and they lined up in order. They're ready to vouch for Coach Dr. AJ. They call me everything from Coach AJ, Dr. AJ, Dr. Coach AJ. It's all the things. And I
want to call you Queen AJ because you are enlightening some women.
Yes. I'll take my crown. I appreciate that. So that's our network. That's how we show it. We're called the Ladies of Legacy, because we're living our legacies, we're leaving a legacy, and we're building our legacy as we're here. It's impacting generations. I always say, when you impact one life, you impact generations. That's powerful, So that's our network. You get me started about them. It's just like exciting.
I love it.
Definitely. And I think that and part of what I'm working on trying to create is an atmosphere where men can come together like women do, because you might have 2 or 3 men that want to go fishing together, and there's nothing wrong with that. But let's learn how to help each other in the home. Let's learn to help each other. What issues are you having as a man, as a husband, that you maybe can help me with, or as a father? We got to quit trying to feel like we got to be, the old picture where the man has got the world on his shoulder. We don't have to live like
Atlas Shrugged.
We don't have to. So I definitely have a heart for men and for lost men, because we have so many issues because we don't want to work together, or we're not equipped to work together. So I'm
And
definitely
support
trying to.
it doesn't have to be super deep either. I think men
Mhm.
may get afraid, like, I don't want to tell too much. I ain't gonna get mushy and emotional. You see where I work with women, but I know how y'all work too. So but
Definitely.
support is super simple. My coaches love me because I check in randomly, 3
Mhm.
a.m. Just checking in. I send them a text message. They're up too. Like, oh my gosh, it's you. Thank you so much. It's so good to be missed and thought of and checked in on, So
Mhm.
support can be as simple as you make it. So I believe you have the ability to do that, and just let them know you're here as they need you. Yeah, don't stress them out, Lorenzo.
Right, but then you're right. And I've had different groups. Like now, the young men that I mentored years ago, I'm looking at all of them, and one of them is like he's a truck driver. The other one is a minister. The other one, he's got a clothing line. And I mean, all of them are successful. So I'm thankful. One of them is actually Ashton. He's a rapper. He's got his own podcast, and then him and his brother. I mean, there's just so much going on. So I
Wow.
see how they all have got to a point now where I can look back and say, "Hey, I'm glad that I was a part of that." And we
Yeah.
still communicate. And sometimes I just reach out, "Hey, how you doing? What's going on?"
Mhm.
Because um, we have to learn how to hold that foundation together. No
Yeah.
matter how tall the tree get, you got to realize the importance of the root.
All
So
right now.
we have to do that. So, and I learned, like I said in the class, I learned so much, and I still refer to that because whenever I speak to people, and if I hear them say anything like, I wish I could be a coach, whatever, I instantly send them to you because I know you can get them certified. And I consistently put it out there because I ran across a lot of people who are coaches and such, but a lot of them are in for the money and not for the benefit of coaching. And I
Wow.
think if you do what you're supposed to do, the money will come. But when you chase the money, you also chase away the people that could bring you the money.
All right
So,
now.
you know,
Well,
but
thank you for
yes,
helping
I
spread the
definitely.
word. And that's what it's about. Because each of you that I certify, y'all go out and y'all have a whole new network. We are each connected to at least 500 more people with similar
Mhm.
and common goals. So, I just do what I can to plant the seed. You guys are the roots that's really keeping this tree going. So I appreciate it.
Well, they say one plant is another water and plants the seed, another waters,
Yes.
and God
Come
gives the
on,
increase.
word. Yes.
So, you
That's
know,
good.
so I'm thankful because I've grown so much. Even I remember when I first came and took the class, because I follow people like Les Brown and different people like that. I've always listened to them, and the one thing I've learned is that a lot of people don't realize that sometimes when they come out and give their most profound speeches, they going through something. Because Les Brown, he gave one of his speeches, and when he said, "What people don't know," and I learned afterwards, he said,
Mm.
right before I went on stage, I get a phone call from my wife saying, "Hey, I just want to let you know that man standing in front of you, the papers he's handing you is the divorce papers." And you're like, wait, what? He said he had no clue. But now he got to go out and tell thousands and thousands of people that, hey, no matter what happened, life is good. So I've
But it's our
learned that.
story that makes us strong. I have mine has not been that, thank God, because I don't know that had to shake him. But I do receive like
Yep.
requests to come speak at the oddest times. It's always during a funeral. So when you sent an
Mhm.
invitation, my cousin just passed away not too long ago. I had another
I'm
aunt that
sorry
passed
to hear
away
that.
as well. So yeah, it's you know, we still have to show up and do what God has called us to
Hmm.
do. On the other end, we human, life is happening. So we
Mhm.
do show up with a smile on our face and maybe go cry in the
Hmm.
car, but it happens and then you get to tell the story and laugh about it later.
I
Hmm.
think that's
Well,
important for
something that
people
you
to
taught me that
recognize.
because you taught me that we don't have to have it all together to help somebody else get it together.
There you go.
Because I always felt like, well, I got this going on, I got that going on, but
Yeah.
we still got to operate in our gift.
Hmm. You
And
remembered a
so
lot from class. I'm proud of you,
definitely,
coach.
look. I mean, I know what God has placed me here to do, and I've
Yeah.
learned to be obedient. And like you were saying, we got to take time to do different things.
Yeah.
So, what I learned at an early stage in life is that if you put too many irons on the fire, they all might get warm, but none will get hot.
Mm.
So I had to take some of those irons off the fire and work on some things. And God saying, get your ministry sound and get that foundation first. So I spent almost 2 years just doing nothing but ministry work. I even put my plays aside, my book and everything.
Oh.
And now that my ministry is solid and I've got a good foundation, now God is saying, okay, do the podcast. And I'm like, Lord, okay, I want to get this play. I want to get to this, all this open space Tyler Perry left. But God said, if you do as I told you, you would get there. And so now I'm learning to just be obedient. Now I'm doing a podcast. And I don't know what doors God is going to open. But since I've been obedient, I've been connected to people who I probably would have never met before.
Yeah.
And I know that, we talk about that six degrees of separation.
Yeah.
And I do know that right now, I would say I'm only about maybe 1, maybe 2 steps away from Tyler.
Oh, you closer than that. You don't even know.
But I'm just saying. So I know that. So I'm just focusing on what God wants me to do, because I know that life is good in spite of anything. Like I say, even with COVID, I think I've been so blessed because I realized that just because COVID came and shocked us, it did not surprise God.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, I knew this was going to happen. When I died on the cross, I knew COVID was going to come in this year.
Come on, preaching.
It's never been a shock.
Yes.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
When we talk about connections and that 6 degrees, I want to make sure that people don't do like me and take for granted the connection of Coach AJ. Coach AJ, if you can share with us how people can connect to you on your social medias real quick.
Yeah, all the things are over at blacklifecoachquiz.com. So if you know that you've been Googling, you've probably seen some videos from me in my elements. As Lorenzo said, my 2 speeds, fast and faster. Then check out blacklifecoachquiz.com. I got some cute pictures over there. And then you can also tell me if you want to chat by text. Someone is sitting here texting me now. I'm like, y'all, I am literally live. I can't talk right now. So I'm ignoring text messages now, but after this recording, I'm happy to chat. So you can send me your number. You have mine. Yes, it's my real number. If you get crazy, I can block you, but we don't have crazies because we know these are women who are looking to be certified and skilled as a coach. So it's a 60-second quiz over at blacklifecoachquiz.com. And you get access to one of our newer networks to come talk to future Black Life coaches. But the secret is over at blacklifecoachquiz.com.
And I know we talked a lot about certifying life coaches. Do you still walk people through the journey of understanding their life journey? Like, do you coach directly?
So what I do is heavily equip my coaches to do that now. My one-on-one clients are people who are certified. They have been coaching. They are making money. Now they're ready to write their first book. They're ready to do virtual speaking engagements like this. They're ready to create their first group coaching experience and then put it in what we call passive mode, passive profits. So those are my coaches who are ready to take their coaching to the next level. So we have a couple calls on the calendar. Again, everyone doesn't get in because that's when I'm really like behind the scenes, letting it out, telling you what you need to hear. You might not want to hear, but at the end, you're like, no, you were right. Thank you for telling me. And now you got a bestseller. And you don't remember them labor pains, So that's who I work with privately and exclusively.
Definitely.
Yes.
And anyone can always reach out to me if they want to get in touch with you, and I can make sure that I can get them in touch with you, because a lot of times when we have broadcasts and things like that, people may come back later or they may miss something or whatever. So anyone that's ever on the show, we always make sure that we have a way for them to always connect, because that's what it's all about. It's all about the foundation. It's all about the networking of the roots, because it takes a village. And I think we really need what you bring to the table. And I'm going to take it a step further. We really need what both of you bring, because unfortunately, men, they listen, but they don't always hear. So
why we do the same face?
Okay. Look, don't even have to say nothing, just
so we definitely need someone who, and I tell women this all the time, y'all have the inapt ability to reach men when we can't reach each other, because men will pay attention to you, they will listen to you, and so you, when you're giving a class or when you're teaching, you have the ability to reach our village and let them know that it's okay, because we're trying to flip the script to where men become the backbone and the women can be the women they're supposed to be. So the both of you, I mean,
Back to
I
our
always,
matriarch society, like ancient Kemet. Let's go.
Handmaid's Tale, girl. The Handmaid's.
Yes.
Girl, that's my show though. I can't even act.
Me too. Had to renew my Hulu subscription.
look,
Yes.
yes,
I will be
it's
like Coach AJ literally texted me like last week, I believe, and somehow I lost all the numbers in my phone, but I'm going to go back through my messages, and it felt good to know like I was someone that was of value for her to reach out to. And I haven't even taken the time to invest in myself to be connected and take advantage of this. So I want the viewers to really recognize that Coach AJ, when she says that she will connect and invest in you, she truly does. She truly, truly does. So I can't wait to be obedient. And I will be connected with you.
Oh, and I didn't even know that this was our connection, and everybody think I'm their cousin, their sister, their auntie. I'm in everybody's family. I'm on probably some portraits on there. One lady did tell me I was on her vision board, so I'm a household name. We're growing. So
That's
I just did a series of 51 texting conversations. So don't ask me who was who or what. I just responded to text. So let's definitely keep the conversation going. I'm happy to chat. Like I said, the number that you guys share with me over at blacklifecoachquiz.com, that's my number. And some of our coaches are like, I see you online. I know how you look. I want you to know me. So they'll text me pictures and things, and then end up coming to train with me. So it's a great way to stay connected, before, during, and after the training. So it's there.
Now, do you suggest those that have been certified to come through your certification to take advantage of all the connections and resources?
I think it depends. One thing that your questions, preparing for the podcast today brought out of me was, if I had to give advice to people who are getting into the industry, or maybe you got certified a while ago, but you're really like second guessing, like, am I really ready? Then I want you to think of number one, who you get certified from. Does their struggle match yours? Like what it took them to get here? Does their story match yours? Like, can you see yourself? Like, no matter how I tell my story, the short version that I share with y'all, because we ain't got all day. But no matter how I share it, someone always sees themselves in homelessness, divorce, downsizing, death, dropping out of school. You in there somewhere. So find someone that matches your struggle, your story, and you like their style. Y'all love that I'm crazy. This is very reserved. Lorenzo probably like, she using like her full, because you warned them. See, if y'all wouldn't have sent me the prep questions, we would be here till tomorrow. This would have been a class, okay? So I'm a little bit like, in order, in pocket, if you will. But my training style, I still meet you where you are, making sure you get what you need, regardless of your learning style, whether you are like an auditory learner, you like to hear, you're visual, you like to see and touch and take notes and hole punch and highlight and 3-ring binder. That's me. That's why I'm going into detail. Or you may be kinesthetic, where you got to put your hands on stuff and prove that what you just learned, you got it. Now let me show you that I got it. So I incorporate all of that into my training style. And then finally, make sure their success matches where you want to be. So make sure that that money that they're claiming, you can look back and see how $13 went to $13,000. It's evident because we got a man on here and I work with women. He got my book. He promotes, So follow the receipts. That's what I would say. So if you're second guessing the training you've had before, then absolutely, we welcome you into our network. Come get certified, because you really still are going to always feel like you missed out on something. It's like joining a sorority after you graduate college. And you're like, oh, but they had the parties and I missed the line name and I want to step, we are a sorority. We're the Ladies of Legacy. So absolutely, if you feel like you match that qualification, of professionally trained, skilled, qualified, certified, that's what you want, and being confident in those skills, then I absolutely invite you to first take the quiz at blacklifecoachquiz.com. Come into our universe and see what's possible, and then take the next steps from there. Thank you for asking, though. That was a great question.
and you don't even realize this, but the one reason, because I had thought about doing a podcast and I was like, well, I don't know, I need this, I need that, and everything. And the one, you did a show once that encouraged me to say, well, let me go ahead and do this, because you was having some technical issues, and you say, look, y'all, I think you was in your closet or something. You said, look, here are the clothes and everything, but I still got to do this. And I'm like, okay, so if your content is good, your environment around you is okay. And that encouraged me to step out and say, let me
My
go on
clothes was
and
my
do more.
I told y'all that's my sound barrier. I did some great podcasts in that closet. Yes, I tried to put my background up tonight. It fell, so I just ripped it down. I was like, we ain't there yet. I'm in a newly renovated home. I've only been here a couple of months.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats.
I love it here. So the podcast studio appearance is coming next. So y'all will see my background back. But yeah, you got to use what you have. You know, you can't let that stop you. And people are thankful. I get a lot of calls like, I love that you go live in your car.
Right.
I was sitting in the drive-thru waiting on my order, and went live because it's reality. And I believe that's the connection that coaches can have with their potential clients. Just being real, showing that you're human. And like you said earlier, we don't all have it together. We ghetto too. So put it on camera. Why not? Everybody else getting paid to do it.
Right. Eating crab legs and shrimp.
Okay. And smacking. And getting paid. I'm about to get on here. But that was what God dropped in my spirit. He told me my in this video industry is my struggle. So, if talking about food stamps and clothes closets and food banks and all of that got me here. Now I'm recording videos of me giving away shoes to the homeless and money and food, So you share that because it will inspire. I ain't know y'all paid that much attention. I'm glad I shared it though, because I laugh at myself. So I'm glad y'all get entertained too.
And that's the other thing. It's entertaining. It keeps your people connected and engaged.
Yes. And I love to laugh. So I'm full of just silliness. And I've been this way all my life. I'm like, why not add that? That's part of your personality. It's something that'll never change. Even if you're not a coach, you still got the same personality. So
the uniqueness of your service.
Yes. Make that money.
Right. Definitely. Well, like I said, I know I've got a lot of projects coming up in the future. And so, you're always going to be part of them. When I do my mini series and I need somebody to come in and be a coach, I don't have to go and get a professional actor. I can get a professional coach to come on set and coach my people and do so. So I'm going to always, reach out to you and say, hey, look, I got a spot. I need you to do it. I know you can do it. So I don't need to hear that. Well, I'm not an actor. I don't care. You can do this.
I don't have a problem with acting. I grew up on stage and in church, so that's the show anyway. So yeah, I have a problem. And I have an army of leaders that I have trained as speakers. So a lot of them go places that I can't be. So and they are phenomenal. So yeah. I appreciate just the diversity of our network and the connections. And my ladies are surprised that I have coached men, so I would love for them to meet you guys. They always trying to get here to Atlanta to get together. So when the world really officially opens back up, we'll be doing some live events.
Oh, please. Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. All righty then. Well, I really enjoyed the time, the information, the knowledge, and I mean, just a little bit that we got is nothing compared to what you have to offer. Yeah. And the thing I want to stress is men. It takes a man to raise a man, but it takes a woman to teach a man how to treat a woman so that you can be a man, to be complete. So there's nothing wrong with learning from women. You can learn from anybody. I don't want them to feel like because you're Coach AJ that, well, I want a man to teach me. No, if that's your thought process, you've already messed up, because you don't look at you look at the person who can teach you, regardless male, female, or whatever. You just look who can lead you to where you need to be. So I definitely appreciate you. I thank you for your wisdom, for your tutelage. I thank you for your mentorship, and most of all, I thank you for your friendship, because some people after the class, you don't hear nothing about them. You go and they teach you and they say bye-bye and go to the next class. But once you're connected with Coach AJ, you're connected. and that's definitely a benefit, and it's a rarity. So I do applaud you, and I appreciate you for your gifts and your talents.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I appreciate the energy you share with us today and also your words like the universe, our community, the legacy of ladies. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. And we've had times where this show felt like it went an hour. And I'm like ready to pick up my phone and try to get to you right after this because you have so much to offer. And so I
Mhm.
just want to say, upon all of our village, we thank you, Coach AJ, for continuing to give your gift because I've seen people sit in their gift and others lack because they weren't able to receive it. And so I want to say thank you for continuing to give your gift and be obedient in the spirit and acting right when it's time to act because Lord
Mhm.
knows we need you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank y'all for having me and being connected. Lorenzo, thank you for however you showed up in my world. I appreciate you. Congratulations on the podcast, you guys. I'm honored to say
Thank
I
you.
have been a guest. And I love the fact that you both are coaches. And feel free to reach out. Like I said, I'm going to eat pizza. So if you want to text or chat, just let me know. We can make it happen.
Yes,
Now that
I'm a
you
baby
have passed
coach.
the
I need
vibe
some
check.
help.
Okay.
Yes, let's talk. So you have my number.
Definitely,
Along
yeah.
with how many of our other coaches. I was like, y'all got everything but my address. So, I gotta keep that protected. But I am available for those who know that becoming a life coach is their next step. And I just love getting my flowers while I'm here.
Mhm.
So, at my funeral, y'all gonna say some good things. So I think about stuff like that. That's actually in
Yeah.
our life coaching now, like what you want people to say at your funeral. So now I know. So thank you guys for saying it while I'm here and can receive it and give flowers back and sow seeds for the next generation. You guys represent generations. So if I can say my parting, can I say my parting line, Lorenzo?
Yes.
You know you can.
So when you impact one life, you impact generations as a Black life coach. There's always someone somewhere, and they're waiting on you to walk in your destiny so they can walk into theirs. It's when you let your own light shine, you give others permission to do the same. I'm Dr. AJ Austin. It has been a plum pleasing privilege, Les Brown, to be here with you guys today. Thank y'all so, so much for sharing your platform, and I'll see y'all soon. Have a phenomenal rest of your day. God bless.
All right, God bless you. We'll
God
talk
Bye,
bless
to you
you.
later.
That was beautiful. It was amazing. The
Yeah.
energy is just so amazing. Like even just being in her energy gets you we talked about motivating people, which is just a spark, and then inspiring people, which is kind of like a burn that you put inside them, but transforming people. And it feels like just being connected with her and getting to tap into a little bit of her, you can get all of that. So I am
Mhm.
excited about the commitment she puts into others because I can tell it's transformational.
Right, and that's what we need. I mean, we need realness, and like I said, what I like about her is that she's real. It's not fake. It's not phony. What you see is what you get. Um, is definitely a blessing to be a part of her network and for her to be a part of ours as well. Definitely so. So I've enjoyed the time. It's been a good day. Um, I think we just continue to do what we're doing, and like I said, for all those out there, definitely don't forget to comment. Let us know how you enjoyed the show. If there's an upcoming things you would like us to discuss, talk about, we're definitely open to do that. We have many more guests that's going to be coming on, and we always just welcome everybody to become part of our village. And just let us know what topics you want us to tap. We ain't scared to touch anything.
Well,
Because all we want to do is encourage and uplift. And sometimes, in order to uplift someone, you got to first know what's holding or pushing them down. And once we see that, then we can speak on it and speak about it and encourage everybody. Because it takes a village. And, that's if you got a business, if you got a family, a marriage, whatever you have, it always takes a village. Nobody can do it by themselves single handedly. So
and
even like I said,
sometimes being
go
just
ahead.
being pointed in the right direction of resources, and that's what we're here for, is connecting that village to other people in the village that can help you get to that next step or the next level that you're trying to get to.
Definitely, definitely. So, like I said, it's been fun. It's been real. It's been enlightening. Um, just glad that God has blessed us to have the ability to have a stage and platform where we can encourage other, uplift others as well. So it's definitely been good.
It has, and it's been the hour. So you guys
Yeah.
don't worry, because we will be back on the first and third Saturdays of every month at 6 p.m. live Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
And you have the pleasure of having our host, Lorenzo Evans, and co host, Ariana Turner. We will always be here to love on and support our community and in our villages.
Yes, and with that, I hope everybody have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ariana, love you, appreciate you, thank you, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye bye.